Hi guys, happy Mid-Autumn Festival. It's currently October the 2nd, so it'll be the Mid-Autumn Festival yesterday for people that were in China and other regions. I'll just quickly disable this. Okay, my background. So, today we're going to talk about how planes affect the environment, and are planes good for the environment? If they're bad, then how bad? And also, I'd like to say, this. Big thank you to Mark Ruger and Mr. Beast for making their project #TeamTrees. And they are trying to stop global warming. And to everyone who has donated to them, a big thank you to you as well. And also a big shout out to Oscar for donating 5 trees, $5 or so, and everyone else that donated as well. So let's get to the topic: are planes good for the environment? So if you look here, you take a quick look here. You can so if you haven't forgotten already, in our first episode we talked about how plane engines work. Now this video is not going to be the series about how planes work, but it's going to be about the environment. And also, please go support TeamTrees. And even though they've already earned 20 million trees, I think it was, yeah, they're still not done yet. So if you feel like planting a tree, just go to them. Okay, so we have this box here. Do that in blue. The keyboard's not responding. How does this keyboard not? This doesn't. Much better. Okay, so in this box you see right here, or should I say, this will be the engine. And in case you have forgotten, this is the little spike that comes out of the engine. And I'll tell you about it a little later in a future video. So, yeah, basically, here is the fan blades. And now, so in the red region is where the fuel and combustion chamber is. This is what I've used as like the core of the engine. Basically at the center. This is also where it is fed into the cabin, and I'm pretty sure for 737s, engine number 1 feeds the cockpit, maybe, and engine number 2 feeds to the passengers, I think. Maybe the other way around. But anyways, you see that red box there? That is where all the core of the engine is, and that is where fuel is produced. And as the hot air comes out at the end, I'm going to make it green, like this. There's also lots of particles of carbon dioxide, which will be in pink. You can see that all of the carbon dioxide comes out. And you do know that fire releases at least 2 things. Or at least we're going to be focusing on 2 things today. Actually, the 2. Carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. CO and CO2. The plane is releasing CO2. So that is, and in case you didn't know, our friend Isaac Newton, the third law, states that, for instance, if I am in space, like I am right now, and I got this pen with me outside the space station, this pen, sorry that you can't see it, then what would I do to get back to the space station, if so, just bear with me for a second. So the space station is here. I am at the star, and I am going further and further away. Okay. So, what should I do? I got my pen, I got myself floating further and further away. The first option most of you will choose is, oh yes, just swim. As I explained in the previous video, maybe about the engine, I might not have explained it, but you cannot swim in space. Because your center of gravity does not affect your orbit around Earth at all. I mean, after all, it's basically like just so it's basically that if this was the road and it's covered with ice and there's a tire here, there's a tire. There's a tire, it's touching the ground, and so this is what the tire's pattern is supposed to look like. What the tire's pattern is supposed to look like. There's supposed to be all sorts of grips. You know, this is what your car tire looks like if you just go out to your car and see. This is most likely what your car tire will look like. But in this case, there will be absolutely no grips. Meaning, bam, oops, sorry. Basically meaning, bam. Nothing to actually, so it's basically like if you're picking up ice or whatsoever with like gloves that does not have the appropriate grip on. So it will just slip out of your hand. Okay. It's basically, that is what's happening when you're swimming. Since there's almost nothing to push against your hand to move. Which is why if you try swimming here, then you don't actually move much. Because the air is a little too thin to push on. Okay, back to our other board. So, all of the carbon dioxide is basically like, so the answer to that question will be throw your pen out, and as a given, this law states that if you go this way, if something goes this way, for instance, if a thing pushed on you this way, you'll go this way, and he will go the other way. So, it's the same thing that's happening here with carbon dioxide. And yeah, carbon dioxide does actually affect the Earth quite a lot. And before I get a little deeper detail, I want to explain something that does far more environmental damage, basically. So I'll quickly do this. So this. So maybe after what the hell I'm drawing. These two are trying to say the fuel exhaust ports. I know that's not for the engine. It's okay. The fuel transition ports. What are they called again? Anyways, so they just shoot out the fuel, basically. So it's basically like having all the fuel, I like to take the orange, spraying out of here. This does far more environmental damage. And also, one thing that you do know is that, okay, before we get to that, there's one thing that I need to clarify. If you see any plane that looks like it's dumping fuel, you do not need to go out with the umbrella above your head. The fuel most likely vaporizes, or it just vaporizes before it even reaches the ground, and the plane is supposed to be at 2,000 meters feet above any object, at least 6,000 feet above the ground. So it was sure evaporated by then. There's no need to worry. Now back to the other question. So, as I said, is this environmentally harmful? Well, yes, it is. You see, with all the, so I'm going to quickly draw a cube, okay? So this will, okay. I'm just going to draw like this. So here's the cube, right? Okay. So basically, all of the carbon dioxide that's been exhausted out of planes and also some vehicles would be this much. And a little less than a century, about half a century. And so planes do not take up actually much. Take up quite a lot of. So use the highlighter for a second. Okay, so if you can see, they'll only be using up roughly this much because planes are back then planes were very fuel efficient. At least they don't use as much fuel as the planes that we use today, though. So roughly this much. But I tell you, like driving all the other vehicles and all that, it does much more damage. So, and also, in trees, they're going to be sucking out all of this oxygen and then carbon dioxide. Well, not all of it. Roughly this much of it. You know, because king tree's color is green, I'm gonna just do that. It's like drawing a mini version of the cube right now. Okay, it's gonna be sucking out a little less than that. A little less. So it's going to be sucking out all of the parts that I have not shaded in green. Or highlighted, should I say. All the parts I have not highlighted in green, I'm gonna suck that out. All of that part, I'm gonna suck it out of the atmosphere, but it's still pretty less, actually. But I still recommend you to actually just support them, because, you know, every tree makes a difference. Okay, back to topic. What was I at? Oh yeah, okay. So you now know that the engines do a lot of damage. But just what about spraying fuel? I have covered that topic a little bit, but let's go into a little deeper. Okay, so sorry, just a second. Okay. Okay, so here you see okay, just one little thing. There. Okay, so here you see a place where you fuel. And now, okay. And now the part that's highlighted in yellow is the fuel, or others there's chemtrails. Those, there's a fuel that's been sprayed from an airplane, and there are a few reasons that can be done. One, because of an emergency. Okay, that is the only reason they can be done. Emergencies. Engine fire, like engine fire, maybe, or like when a life-threatening situation is happening on board, for instance, someone's getting a heart attack. So you may need to land at the nearest airport, and it's come to a question why we need to do that first. And okay. Okay, so you can see this right here. So let's pretend that we have a blue water bottle, right? And then there's a sign. Pretend that there's a sign that is saying that do not drop on a height unless the water level is below the blue line. It means it's basically the same with airplanes. Remember the last video where I said about landing gear, get out the decompression? Okay, let's go to something first. Isaac Newton did state this, but another scientist did state this, that the faster the object is going, the harder it is to slow it down, and the heavier the object is, the harder it is to slow it down as well. And because, well, like if you have a heart attack, you don't. So, for instance, if you have dual engine fire, a quad engine fire, should I say? If you're on the 4 engine plane, let's go with the A330. Wait, no, A340. Yeah, that's the one with the 4 engines. A340s. So the line is here, and then so first of all, we have the so-called crew weight. So there, passenger and crew weight. And then we also have the luggage, which will represent in pink. This is only if it's full though. So I just realized my drawing's very inaccurate. I realized that after I made the video. So yeah. Okay, we still have this much room left. So we got the yellow. Okay, first of all, hopefully that's how you spell it. I suck at spelling. Yellow will be our taxi and final reserve. Taxi, and no, it does not mean that, oh, I gotta call a taxi because I'm late for work. No, it means the time where like the airplane taxis or goes from the runway to the ramp. And no, not up the ramp to go into a truck. The ramp, you know how when you get off a plane and it's like in that grey concrete place thing you take, that is called the ramp. The only place where personnel are allowed. So here will be a taxi fuel and red. Oops, okay. Red for final reserve fuel. Final reserve. And this weirdish color for our so this, let's say, a go around feel. Go around. And this color. New city color. Okay, this one will be the one thing. Okay, and this blue color. You know what? Let's not have that for just for this purpose. And then the rest of it, which will be in pink, is the trip feel. Look at how much feels you do have. And then I realized that I drew this box a little too small. So I'm gonna raise the size of the box. Okay. So the blue line there indicates the max landing weight. Now there's a difference between the max landing weight and the max takeoff weight. Oh yes, I just realized that this bar is also a little too low. So max takeoff weight is the max weight that the engines will provide enough thrust for you to get to V1, rotate, and V2, which I'll describe in a future video. And then here is what we have called, okay, it'll be in red. It is called the max takeoff weight. So for some A350s, like the only even though you can like 777s, even though it's a little bigger than some 777s, like you could only hold 51 tons, while the 777 X-freighters can hold up to 100 tons or so. And the reason is because they are different. Well, they have a different max takeoff weight, and the max takeoff weight and the max landing weight is what actually limits them to what they can do. So if this was the bottle and you were to drop it, and then so I'm going to draw a orange line here, which means the line that the weight cannot go below. That line, the weight cannot go below, and then I'll draw another line in green to indicate our weight. So at first, our takeoff weight will be this. And if there was to be some fuel emergency and you have to land and it hasn't been very far into the flight, and you only use your weight up to this much, then it's time to call in. Well, it's time now that you do the spray fuel, because look at it. It's this much. It's like it's legit this much above the max takeoff weight and the landing weight. It means that there must internal damage will be done. So remember how I said about the cushioning? So imagine you're landing on a hard floor and you have a very thin cushion. Okay, a very thick one. It must be this thick. And you're dropping from very high. So let's see. About 15 meters. 15 meters. Oh, and also one thing. You also have two rocket boosters on your side that will come in and they're pointing downwards away from the pillow so that it doesn't burn the pillow, which will help you slow yourself down and upon landing. That is when like you decrease your thrust, and then you'll figure that if you land in any position, you're gonna have at least some broken bones or even just a few bruises. Because from that height and the pillow roughly this thick, pillow, it will get decompressed all the way to the ground, and then since it cannot absorb any more force, because like let's say that the pillow is a towel, right? The towel is now filled with water. It can't hold any more water. The water will now go to the floor around it, which means that you're gonna put all your energy onto the floor, and then when your energy gets to the floor, well, the floor will spread it around, and it will eventually go away. But look, if you just try hitting your arm very hard, you can see how your arm hurts, or your hand hurts as well. Well, if you do it correctly, you will get, or if someone punches you, you can see how your hand hurts far more than their hand. So look, punch yourself like this, and you can see that the punch will be much more, will hurt much more, since you see all of the energy comes in, decompresses, it still has the energy, bounces away, but it still hurts because from all the energy transfer. Okay, back to here. And then, so if you know when back in 2019 or 2018, Sichuan, there was an airline in Chinese, Sichuan Hangkong. Okay, sorry that I don't know how to pronounce it in English, but if you have a friend that speaks Chinese, please tell me to help you with the translation. Sichuan Hangkong. It's an A319, and so basically in flight they had to make so the flight plan was, so basically this will be China, right? And then in all the places where I draw a circle, there's mountains, and there's one big mountain that's the Himalayas, or the Himalaya range, and then their path was to go over it and then down again. And there was a airport, there's an airport, so the two airports are here. Okay, through the airports in red, this is where they plan to land, this is where they took off, this is where they land. So I'll use pink to their path. So the path is exactly the path, and the incident happened right at the place. The incident happened right at the place over here. So the windscreen legit shattered, or at least on the first officer side, and then they were over here, not knowing exactly what to do. And then the pilot contacted Chengdu Airport and saying a mayday, and they had to go here. And the plane did actually get tire bursted and overrun because of the A319. It can't dump fuel, and then it still had roughly this much weight left. So it did result in an internal damage. But if you see, like if you had a heart attack right after takeoff, your weight's still this much, and your A319, it's gonna explode, dude. So basically, this is why we need to spray fuel. I was going a little off topic, but it was worth it. Okay, so spraying fuel like that, so also mean that lots of fuel, so I think about 1 million tons of fuel are sprayed into the ocean, like in 2018 or 2019. Like that is a lot, and that is much, and does a lot of environmental damage. And if you do want to stop, okay, not completely stop, but just slow down the rate of carbon dioxide and global warming, please go to the link in the description or go to TeamTrees.org and support them. And a clear note, they're not So, $1 equals 1 tree. Okay. $1 equals a tree. And also, just a little quick review of how that's been going. Let's go to their website. So, yeah. So got 22,306,183 trees planted. And to all of the people that are on this list right here, and all of the other people who have donated, thank you so much for one step towards the environment. And yeah, here's the most trees. So here's 1,000,001 tree. And all of these people and all the other people that donated it made this whole project happen. Thank you to them. Hope I'll see you next time, okay? Stay safe. And also don't forget to donate. And goodbye.